Hello, my name is Gus, but you can call me BatGus, and we are back with our Batman the Animated Series episodes commentary. And today is a very special one. We finally arrived at one of the most famous and one of the best considered by most people, one of the best episodes, that is Heart of Ice, featuring the introduction of one of my personal favorite villains from Batman Rogues Gallery, that is Mr. Freeze. So let's do a countdown. Like usual, I'm gonna count 3, 2, 1. If you are watching Batman the Animated Series through your DVD box set or your Blu-ray box set, you can do this countdown with me and give it a play, okay? Let's go in 3, 2, 1, go! So the Warner Bros. Logo is on the screen. And like I said, Heart of Ice is one of the best episodes, or at least one of the most iconic episodes in this show, because it introduces Mr. Freeze into the chronology of the series, and also introduces a new origin story for the character that so far in history, in the comic books, in the old TV show from Adam West in the 60s, was always portrayed as just simply this megalomaniac villain who messes with ice. Of course, he already had the whole genetically mixed cells with freeze or ice, but here Paul Dini and Bruce Timm gave him another origin that explained his the whole idea of his villain acts, and also why he needs to be in deep freeze all the time, right? In a temperature below zero. But anyway, the episode starts with Mr. Freeze narrating his plans for revenge while holding this glass with a ballerina doll dancing inside while snowflakes fall on her. And it's a beautiful scene already. Then we go to the news where Summer Gleason, our reporter from the show, announces that Gotham is going through a very difficult heat wave, and which is very interesting and ironic regarding the episode that this is taking place. But she's also announcing that one of the factories of GothCorp, which is a very important industry in the mythology of Batman, was attacked by what people are saying a man holding a freeze gun. And you can see during the TV news broadcast that she is in front of the building that was attacked, and the whole place is covered in snow, which is very ironic and strange, basically because of the heat wave that the city is going through. Then we go to the Batcave, where Batman is analyzing some data in his computer, and he notices through a quick investigation that this is not the only place that was attacked recently, a place that belongs to GothCorp, right? There were other places that were broke into, and all these crimes are related to the robbery of machine parts that are being put together for a specific purpose. Then we have this very, very straight to the point and great action sequence where we see the truck of Mr. Freeze trespassing a barrier of a industry, a factory, and right away we see the Batmobile chasing his truck. So the episode doesn't waste time, right? Batman is already on the chase after this criminal gang that is committing these robberies. And we have the iconic Mr. Freeze move that is to freeze the road to make the Batmobile slide and spin around, and so he can be able to escape, right? So Mr. Freeze breaks into the factory. He freezes the door, the front door of the factory, and is able to break into the place using the truck, going through the frozen door. Then his goons, because Mr. Freeze has this gang of goons here, right? It's not explained how he has these guys working for him, but anyway. And they are all carrying these barrels of product that he will use eventually. And they're all working for him, and Batman shows up to stop the whole robbery. And we have him kicking these guys out and saying freeze to Mr. Freeze, which is very appropriate, right? This is when Mr. Freeze introduces himself and his name saying, "It's Mr. Freeze for you," right? I love that Mr. Freeze has this robotic voice. And we have a combat between Batman and Mr. Freeze. And Mr. Freeze says to him that he has no quarrel with Batman, but Batman says, well, now you got a quarrel with me because I am Batman, right? Anyway, and they have this combat where Freeze shoots his Freeze rays against Batman, and he ends up freezing the legs of one of his goons. So the guy gets frozen in the legs, and Batman swings away from the freeze gun of Mr. Freeze, but he also ends up being frozen. Then the other goons tell Mr. Freeze that they need to take care of the guy, but Mr. Freeze coldly, no pun intended, just says, leave him. He has to pay the price for his incompetence. Already showing that he's cold, right? He doesn't really care for no petty thief or any of his hired guns. And they leave the guy. They leave the guy behind. Next, Batman is able to escape from the layer of ice that is covering him. And this is going to play a role later, because Batman is going to end up getting a flu because of that. But he also gets the responsibility to save the guy who had his legs frozen. Mr. Freeze is able to escape, and the Batman takes the guy to the Batcave, where we see a very interesting section of the Batcave. There is a area where we have a big tank with fluids inside, some hot fluids, warm fluid, of course. And the guy that was frozen by Mr. Freeze, he's blindfolded inside the tank, almost like Luke Skywalker in The Empire Strikes Back inside the fluid tank that will heal him. But this fluid tank is to unfreeze the legs of the guy. And Batman is doing some, he's controlling some panels around to be able to control the temperature inside the tank. And soon enough, the cold, the ice on the legs of the guy melt, and he's able to save him. Very interesting scene, because we see Batman's compassion, so to speak, to save an innocent guy that is not actually, innocent in the way that it was not his fault that he ended up in that situation. So Batman is helping the guy, and we have a great dialogue between him and Alfred saying, "You're showing a compassion to this guy." Alfred saying, you're showing a compassion to this guy that he would never show towards you. And Batman, by the way, is sneezing very much because he got a flu, says, that's not the point, Alfred. So anyway, again, another example of Batman using his resources to do good, even though it is towards a criminal. But then we move to the scene where Bruce Wayne visits one of the industrialists of Goth Corp, and his name is Ferris Boyle, a guy who is a very rich man, but has some dirty secrets. And he is also voiced by Mark Hamill, the same actor who voices the Joker. And if you pay attention, you can see the voice similarities. But the thing is that Ferris Boyle is about to receive an award for Humanitarian of the Year for his good deeds and the good actions of Goth Corp. And we see a news report showing this. And then we move to Mr. Freeze hideout where he sees this news and he freezes the TV showing the report, and he has plans, right, for Ferris Boyle. His revenge schemes are all directed to Mr. Boyle. We also see his goons putting together the pieces of technology they stole from the factories of Goth Corp, because these will all create a big machine that is able to freeze anything, right? Freeze a building or freeze a whole, I don't know, a whole place. You know, it's like a big freeze gun. And we go back to the Batcave where Batman is sneezing, and he's a very bad shape because of the flu. And Alfred gives him the best medicine to heal a flu. That is chicken soup. So it's great, right? The best medicine to heal a flu is chicken soup, which I didn't know this information before watching this episode. But next, we're going to have a scene that it is one of the most iconic ones of this episode because it shows Mr. Freeze's origin story. We have Bruce Wayne disguising himself as a police officer to break into one of the Goth Corp buildings, and he tells a security guard to leave his post just so he is able to access some secret files regarding the employees of Goth Corp, and he ends up finding the files of one Dr. Victor Freeze, who is the man he's looking for, right? With this file, he also finds a tape, and once he puts the tape and gives it a play in a monitor to see what's in the tape, he sees a video of Dr. Freeze talking about his plans to save his wife, who has a very specific disease that has no cure yet. So in order to find a cure in the future, he froze his wife in a tank, and he's talking about this whole idea that he will wait for a cure while she's cryogenically frozen. Then Ferris Boyle and some other security officers enter the laboratory that Victor Freeze is doing his research and holding his wife frozen. And we have this great scene where the two men get into a conflict, which ends up in an accident where Ferris Boyle pushes Dr. Freeze, onto a table filled with these chemical liquids that also have cryogenic properties. And once he's pushed into these liquids, they explode. And this is what turns Dr. Victor Freeze into Mr. Freeze. And Batman gets shocked with that whole video, right? So, which is the evidence that Ferris Boyle, it's a criminal, and also the evidence that reveals to him what are the plans of Mr. Freeze in terms of revenge. It's a great scene, but it's a very famous one for having this plot hole of the camera video is very well edited, right? We see all the angles of the whole scene from many different cameras, so it's a funny thing, but necessary for us to understand the plot. And then Mr. Freeze arrives, gets Batman, freezes him, and explains his revenge to the hero. And it establishes also that Mr. Freeze is a very poetic man, because he starts talking about his pain and the pain that was caused to him because of his wife, and why the revenge in this case is so necessary towards Ferris Boyle. Then he leaves, and Batman stays behind, frozen, with his legs frozen upside down, and he's hanging, right? Trapped in the place. I don't know why Mr. Freeze just didn't kill the guy, just didn't kill Batman, but I guess Mr. Freeze is not that dirty as well. So Batman is able to escape. Obviously, he gets this frozen spike and breaks the ice that is trapping his legs. He falls down. It's a beautiful scene. By the way, this episode, it's very beautiful in terms of animation. Another great episode that has a great style of animation that is not on all the episodes. This one is another one that is particularly very well animated. And some of the scenes are just beautiful, especially the ones that are in these scenarios of cold, right? The last scene that we had Batman trapped upside down was in this place that was all frozen, and there were snow covering the floor, and you can see the snowflakes falling down while Mr. Freeze is talking to Batman. So it's a very beautiful scene in terms of the photography. I don't think we should call photography because it's an animation, but the whole environment of the scene is just beautiful. And generally, Mr. Freeze episodes are very beautiful because of this theme of the colds and the blues that mixed with the black have this perfect blending of gothic with cold, right? It's just amazing. So Mr. Freeze breaks into the event where Ferris Boyle is going to be awarded with the Humanitarian of the Year award. He and his goons use the big freeze gun they put together to freeze the building, freeze the windows of the building, so that they are able to break into the place. Batman arrives in time, and we have this little fight between him and Mr. Freeze on top of the machine. And then we have this great scene, soon enough, where first we have a very great moment where one of the goons tries to get Batman from behind, and Batman just punches him without even looking back. Great scene. But then we have the most amazing scene for me in this episode where Mr. Freeze uses this fire hydrant in the street. He kicks the hydrant away and causes this water fountain that he freezes with his gun. And the water being frozen takes him up towards the window of the building where he makes his entrance, which is a very triumphant entrance, in my opinion. Genius scene of this cartoon that should be, I don't know, done in live action someday, because it's just, what a great maneuver. Then he enters the party and approaches Ferris Boyle, and he freezes the man, right, very cruelly, and he says, "I was hoping to see these eyes frozen and fearful, begging for mercy." So Mr. Freeze is just a very cold, cruel man, right? What a great villain. Then Batman arrives at the scene, and they have this very, very nice fight where Batman punches the guy, but Mr. Freeze is also very powerful in terms of strength, right? His suit and his frozen ability, so to speak, make him a superhuman. So it's not easy to fight Mr. Freeze. And this is when Batman uses the great medicine for the flu to beat the villain. He just breaks the glass of chicken soup onto Mr. Freeze's dome, and the soup and the hot boiling soup breaks the glass of his dome, and the heat causes him to become weak, right? That's Mr. Freeze's weakness, the heat, of course. But it's a very unusual and creative and intelligent way to beat him in a fight for Batman. Then we also have Batman doing the right thing, that is to deliver the tape of the Mr. Freeze's accident caused by Ferris Boyle to Summer Gleason, the reporter, in order to give the evidence for the police of what a criminal the guy also is. And he says for the man before leaving the party, "Good night, humanitarian." I always loved that line. And then we have the great ending of the episode, that is Mr. Freeze in his Arkham Asylum cell, looking his ballerina doll inside a glass, and talking about the sadness that it is to live that way, trapped into the soul of a man who has a cold heart today. It's just a beautiful, poetic scene, and we see Batman watching him out of the building, far away in his window. That is the only window that is blue in Arkham Asylum. What a great episode. So this is it, guys. Thank you so much again. One of the best in this series. I hope you enjoy it. If you are liking this content of Batman the Animated Series commentaries, please don't forget to leave a like in the video and subscribe to the channel for more commentaries in the future. Also, don't forget to check the other episodes' commentaries in the playlist section of this channel, alright? So this is it. See you in the next Bat video, and bye-bye.